Bob Marley once said, "The greatness of a man is not in how much wealth he acquires, but in his integrity and his ability to affect those around him positively." Andrew, you are not a boy, but a man. As your older brother, I have seen you grow. I've seen you attempt, and I've seen you fail. I've seen you struggle, and I've seen you prosper. And I've seen you love, but I've never seen you hate. You may find yourself asking, how did I get here? Or how did I become who I am today? Many things can influence you in your decisions in life. Some influences can be positive, while others may be negative. But it is up to you to surround yourself with those who can aid in the maturation of your character. I believe Camp Deerhorn is a place that has done just this. It has created a sort of sanctuary for you, a place where you can be who you want and explore yourself through the essence of manhood. When Dad first approached Zach and I about the idea of you coming to camp, our responses were immediate and sincere. We said absolutely. We knew that this place would affect your life for the better, just as it did to ours. That summer, you came up here, eager to see for your own eyes what Zach and I had been raving about for years before. After just a few days at camp, I was able to notice an almost instant change in your demeanor towards life and relationships. You connected with Deerhorn so well that I thought you would never want to leave. And finally, after witnessing the tears that fell from your eyes the last day of camp, I knew this was going to be your home for life. Fast forward 4 years, and you're now a Deerhorn leader, the most honorable position to be held at camp. This summer, I witnessed something remarkable. Someone who I once knew as a slightly immature, somewhat bratty teenager that sucked his thumb until the age of 13, was given a chance and responsibility to make a difference in the lives of other campers. You realize this, Andrew, and you took it upon yourself to show not only your team, but every camper that walked through Coogee Road this summer what the Deerhorn Creed stands for. I am blessed and proud to call you my brother. I'm not the only one that feels this way about you, Andrew. As you are well aware, our brother Zach couldn't be here today, but he wanted to share a few words. He said, "To start, there's nothing harder than not having the ability to be there with you tonight. With that said, words can't even describe how proud I am of the man you've become these past few summers. As the two youngest in the family, we were always the closest, and I'll always cherish those nighttime talks we had about camp, and the nights I used to take you stargazing out on the ski dock. From your first summer at Deerhorn, there was no doubt in my mind that you would absolutely love it here, and from then on, you were a leader in the making. My leader summer, you really stepped up your game. You were my right-hand man, and always did whatever you could to help make life easier. But this summer truly showed your leadership abilities. You acted more as a mentor and a friend than a leader. Campers didn't just want to be on the Iroquois because of the color, but rather the fact that you would be their leader. You treated everyone as equals and always found a way to put smiles on the faces of your teammates, even in times of defeat. You are a leader in its truest form. We are not just family now, but Deerhorn family, and there is no stronger bond that we could possibly share. And as the doors close on this summer, and you feel that your boy-headed adventure has ended, just remember, the magic of Deerhorn never ends. It's now your time to carry the mantle for those who are beginning their journey as campers and give back to this wonderful place that we call home. Never forget you are the magic of Deerhorn. I love you, and I hope you cherish tonight, as it will be the most memorable of your Deerhorn career. Congrats, Bubba. Andrew, as this night comes to a close, just remember, you are the future, you are the man, and you are a Deerhorn leader for life. Take this moment in and never forget it. Bring the lessons you've learned here wherever you may go and touch the lives of others, just how you have touched so many here at Camp Deerhorn. There's no man in the world I would rather introduce than my brother, friend, and prodigy, the 2016 Iroquois leader, Andrew Housen. over here. Let's open. Thank you, Brian McFadden. Camp Deerhorn. You can show a boy thousands of photos and father-son videos, but until you see the Northwoods with your own eyes, can the love and passion be felt for this place. Since Alex and Zach have been coming here, I have always been wondering what they saw in their magical camp. Years of jealousy occurred as my two brothers left me the entire summer to Deerhorn. In the fall of 2013, Alex, Zach, and Lee pulled me aside and asked if I wanted to spend 3 weeks up at camp. How could I say no? After all of those years, I was so excited to be going to camp that I started a camp countdown right away. Zach would spend nights with me explaining the everyday life of camp. Walking through our neighborhood, he would thoroughly explain Sunday events, bugle calls, and even the camp teams. At first, I didn't understand what they meant, that it was Alex's leader summer. They said it was an honor and everything, but I couldn't understand, had not coming up to camp previously. All I knew was that Alex could call family on me, and I was going to be a koi. The school year went by fast, and it was time for camp. After the miles of traveling, we reached the legendary Deerhorn 2 mile sign. We got to camp about 9 o'clock at night, and as we were moving our things into Kuji 16, a herd of counselors came sprinting towards us. Watching my brothers catch up with these guys was like watching a family reunion. I was introduced to them, and right away they treated me like their own Deerhorn brother. Immediately, I fell in love with the Deerhorn family and camp itself. My first year started off a little rough. A couple days into A session, I was called into the office by Donnie. I was in trouble for constantly hanging out in another Kuji. The Kuji I was going into happened to be Max, Jake's, and Diego's. At the time, Diego was my best friend at camp, and Max, Jake, and I had almost no relationship. Who knew that we would all end up here today? The next session started, and I was put into a Kuji with my now longtime camp friend, Alex Trevino. Alex really taught me a lot about camp that year. He was a fourth-year camper, and I was just learning the ways of Deerhorn. After the first 2 sessions, jealousy kicked in again, and as I was driving away, wishing I could stay longer, that summer. During the school year, I felt something that I had never had before, and that feeling was called being camp sick. My love for camp grew even when I was away. When Zach got the call to be leader, I was super excited. I decided I was going to stay the whole summer with Zach, like he did for Alex's leader year. Getting to camp my second year really was when camp felt like home for the first time. When I saw the familiar faces from the previous summer, I was able to have conversations with friends like I never had left. In the summer of 2014, I went on a 3-day kayaking trip called Explorer. The trip was the beginning of a friendship that will last a lifetime. 3 of my best camp friends and coolest guys I know were on that trip. And if you can guess, it was Jake, Max, and Diego. Explorer was a great way to prepare for the next trip we took together. My 3rd year at camp was my Voyager summer. The first session started, and the 4 Voyagers at camp A session were Jake, Diego, Max, and I. The bond was made the summer before, but we became a unit that year. For those of you who don't know, our Voyager tent and cook group was also the 4 of us. Even though Diego wasn't there the whole time, we still clicked during the training and on the trip. After that summer of camp, we all waited to find out who the next leaders would be. When we found out that we were going to be in L4 together, we immediately started a long phone call and talked about the amazing summer ahead of us. I couldn't have asked for a better group of guys to experience this summer with. Now that the summer has come to an end, I've been able to reflect on the experiences that I've encountered on this journey. Leader year has been hands down the best summer of my life. From my C-Session Goon Squad, to the Monkey Mash, and to being on this beach tonight. I have cherished every moment that these past 8 weeks have offered me. Lessons learned here can't be taught anywhere else. As a leader, I was able to better my decision-making skills. The values that I gained this summer will impact me for the rest of my life. As I start a new chapter in my Deerhorn story, I would like to thank the people that have impacted my camper career. To the Broadbridges, thank you for your guidance and for the opportunity to be a leader this summer. Thank you to my parents for sending me up here for the past 4 years. Without you guys, I don't know where I'd be. Thank you, Jake, for always showing me how to be good-hearted and helping me become a kind person. Pickle monsters, baby. Thank you, Diego, for teaching me different ways of leadership and showing me the ropes of camp my first year. And thank you, Max, for showing me how to always have a smile on my face. Max, you're a gift to Deerhorn. Thank you to all of my Iroquois team this summer. You guys were the best, and all of you made this summer the greatest ever. Thank you, Special Events, for putting together everything this summer. Even though it was tough because of the little amount of Sundays we had, we still got the job done. Thank you, Patrick Drake, for my Voyager summer and all the things you taught me and how to become a better leader. Thank you to my cousin Nick Daniels for spending your entire summer here at camp. You were truly a great counselor and had a huge impact being up here. Thank you to my longtime friend, TJ Farrell, welcoming me to camp my first year, showed me that the world needs more kids like you. Thank you for being my right-hand man this summer on the Iroquois. Thank you to the Deerhorn staff these past 4 years. I hope all of you know that you being here has had a huge impact on my childhood. And lastly, thank you to Alex and Zach for introducing me to camp and helping me make my own adventure of it. You guys are the best brothers anyone could ask for. What I want from all you kids sitting in front of me is to come back to camp. I urge you guys to spend your summers here at Deerhorn rather than traveling or playing sports. Today, I was talking to my good friend, Henry Miller, and he told me, Andrew, I don't really care about the other things I can do in the summer or what my mom wants me to do. I just want to come back to camp for longer. That's how I want all of you to feel. So cherish your childhood here and make it possible to come back. I wish I could have come here since I was as young as most of you standing in front of me. The first 13 years of my life were never spent at Deerhorn. But when I came to camp, I changed right away. As a competitor, sometimes I can be super competitive. But camp taught me losing isn't a bad thing, and winning isn't what it's all about. The saddest thing about tonight is that I'll have to go an entire 10 months without being here. When the camp sickness kicks in again, I'll just read the lines from my favorite camp song, I'm Coming Home. I'll be back, and I hope to see all your faces for many years to come. Don't cry because it's over. Smile because it happened. Thank you, and I love you all.
If I get murdered in the city, don't go revenging in my name. One person dead from such is plenty. No need to go get lots away. When I leave your arms, the things that I think of, no need to get over alarm. I'm coming home. I wonder which brother is better, which one our parents love the most. We're sure to get in lots of trouble. They seem to let the other go. A tear fell from my father's eye. If I get murdered in the city, go read the letter in my desk. Don't bother with all my belongings, but pay attention to the list. Make sure my sister knows I love her. Make sure my mother knows the same. Always remember there is nothing worth sharing like the love that lets us share our name. Always remember there is nothing worth sharing but the love that lets us share our name.
All of us here are on a pathway. These pathways bend and curve, and when we're lucky, they cross with other pathways. And it's these crossing pathways that help us continue to follow and sometimes even change direction. Sitting here right now, we are all lucky enough to say that our pathways have somehow come in contact with Max Tunnicliffe. Putting into words how fortunate we are for this is seemingly impossible. But why is that? What makes Max so distinctive and so particular? Getting it down to a science may be unfeasible, but from my personal experiences with tuna, I can tell you that Max goes backwards. Let me explain. There's an immense amount of leaders in this world, and all of them know what they do. Some of them know how they do it, and a few might know why they do it, in that order. But for Max, this order is reversed, and he walks his path backwards. Max is a phenomenal leader because before anything else, he knows why he does it. He chooses to take those difficult risks, chooses to see the opportunity in every difficulty, and he chooses to make a difference. He then knows how he leads and knows that the key to his leadership is influence rather than authority. He knows that in order to win the hearts and minds of his campers, he has to first lead with his own heart as well as his mind. Max knows he's a leader, and it's from him that all of us can learn to see that the glass is overflowing rather than half empty or half full. There are so many great leadership qualities that you possess, Tuna, and I want to shine a light on some of the greatest. With this, I have enlisted a little bit of help. You encourage. You have an apparent desire to lift people up and make them excited about things. Parker saw this firsthand when he was stressed about the Voyager trip. He said he can't thank you enough for not only listening to him, but also giving him advice that made him feel much more confident. You empower. You give people trust and allow them to succeed when they march with you. Petrie said you were the best leader he's ever had because you simply believed in him. You enlist. You are constantly paying attention to others' voices, dreams, and desires. Cooper says that his best memory of you is watching the way you led your team throughout the summer. You embody. People see you stand for what you believe in, even when times get tough. Keeping your composure and continuing to try your hardest inspired Douthat the day of the monkeys, and still having as much fun as if you would have won the whole thing inspired everyone else. And finally, you envision. You see an alternative, clear view of the future and what this summer could be like for your team. Liam wanted to point out that this summer, you showed so many campers that having a good attitude and having fun is way more important than winning. As you can see, Tuna, you have so many people that look up to you, so many people that believe in you and follow you more readily than others. And this isn't just because you're a good leader, it's because you're a good person. So thank you. Thank you for being the smile and the laugh at the mess call that everyone else needs on an early morning. Thank you for spreading sunshine and good cheer, truly for the sole purpose of having fun. You show us that even if you lose, you gain wisdom, and for someone of the age of 16 to know that is an incredible rarity. You are such an amazing, colorful, and sometimes odd addition to the Deerhorn family, and I hope you never forget the impact you have made on this place. I know this night can be looked at as a closing circle, a shutting door, or even a finishing chapter, but in the end, it doesn't really matter what we call it. What matters is that it's the beginning of something great. You have come away from this summer with the most valuable thing an experienced person can have, experience. And I want you to continue to use that to make mistakes and to learn from them. To not be afraid to fail, because every failure is one step closer to success. Be gracious and thankful that your parents have given you your time at Camp Deerhorn, no matter how much they missed you. Continue to see each day as a new opportunity and continue to be that pathway that everyone else is lucky to cross. It is with honor and great pleasure that I present to you the 2016 Navajo leader, Max Tunnicliffe.
Camp Deerhorn has been a huge part of my life for the last 9 years. During this time, I discovered a second home, made friends that will last a lifetime, and found a place with people that will have your back no matter what. I was very lucky to have my parents send me to Deerhorn because camp makes you a better person, and such special things happen here. Only at camp are you ecstatic to see a 9-year-old at the beginning of the summer, and genuinely sad to see him go. Only at camp do you strive to have the type of friendship the two 14-year-olds living 800 miles away have. Only at camp do you not see people for 10 months, but are instantly best friends again when you reunite. Only at camp do you drive 95 miles per hour down County C just to make it to camp 3 minutes faster. I think the most meaningful parts of Deerhorn are the relationships you make, the memories you share, the Coogee times, the campfires, but not the activities, the Sunday events, not the winning. For example, I always remember the smile on Luke Flom's face when he found out he was a Navajo. I always remember the hug that Austin Douthit gave me after the monkeys, even though he came in fourth. I always remember running over to Parker Frauchi's car on the last day of C-session and having him jump out as he was moving to say one last cheery goodbye. One of the coolest things about Deerhorn is how fast time flies, but it is sad. It feels like just yesterday when I was very nervous about coming to regular camp for the first time. Though I'd go father-son for the previous 3 years, I still hardly knew anyone and wasn't very excited about going. My worries quickly vanished when my dad told me that Blaine was going to put me in a Coogee with a boy who everyone liked, whoever he got along with really well. He was from Mexico City. That person just happens to be sitting 3 canoes to my right. It doesn't feel like long at all since I wondered, who's that weird kid with the earrings hanging out with the Mandels? Little did I know that I'd be a leader with him 4 years later. I still remember saying goodbye to Jake Mins the last night of B session, 2014, because he had an early flight the next morning. I always thought that he was a really nice guy, and he was a great person, but I had no idea he'd become one of my best friends the following years. When I first came to regular A session, my first year, oh God, I did not know a lot of. Oh, it turned off. I didn't know anyone. The camp quickly grew on me, and after camp ended, I couldn't wait to come back. I think the next year, my second year, was the year where I realized how special camp really was. I remember playing sprout ball with the leaders Jack Minion and Bobby Thomas and father-son, and thinking about how cool they were and how they must have really found a second home here. I remember wanting to do what they were doing. That year was the first year I felt sad leaving camp and realized that I loved Deerhorn. My third year at camp was the turning point of my camp career. At this point, I was very immature and didn't always react well with other campers. After an incident that very well could have gotten me sent home, Donnie called me in and had a long conversation with me about the creed. Andrew, long conversation with me about the creed and the values that the Bridgebridges teach at Camp Deerhorn. Those 30 to 45 minutes made more of an impact on me than anything else ever has. I left camp that year a better person and couldn't wait to be one of the older campers the next year. When I came back next year as a 14-year-old, was a summer I really became a Deerhorn person. In A session, we went on a 3-day trip called Explorer. It was basically a shortened version of Voyager, and though it was just 3 days, it made a lasting impression on me. I became much closer with the 3 guys sitting to my right, and that started the friendship we have today. Before Explorer year, I was always sad about leaving, but I never truly understand how much Deerhorn meant to people. That year, there was a 15-year-old named Jamie Ratty that could only go B session and couldn't go Voyager due to competitive sports. I remember his last scalp game ever, and he made the final pull to win. As everyone rushed to celebrate him, I just walked away by myself, crying to myself. That was the moment I knew that I would do everything in my power to make it back to camp. That winter, I set a timer on my phone, counting down until I would be back for my Voyager year. That next year, there were so many cool moments that I can't list them all. I remember having V4 plus C meetings up on the Skeeter. I remember playing Leader plus Scalp. All of those memories. However, the best part of last year's Voyager year was Voyager. It was 8 days getting closer with people that were already some of your best friends. At the beginning, I was ecstatic to find out that I would be in tent group with the 3 guys in the canoes to my right. However, just a day and a half in, Diego and Alex Rubino had to be evacuated. For them to be such tenured campers and to be waiting for this trip for such a long time and then have to leave was really sad. After they left, everyone was really depressed, but then we went back up to the campsite. We all sat down together, had a meal, and just talked. That meal brought us all closer and is really what camp is all about. Voyager was some of the best days of my life, and I cherished every second. At the end, I was just devastated that I had to leave my brothers, but couldn't wait for the next chapter of my Deerhorn career. I had no idea that the best moment of my life was about to happen. I had just gotten home from school, and my dad told me I had a call. The person on the other line was Amy Broadbridge. We talked for a little bit, and then she asked if I would like to be a 2016 Deerhorn leader. I put the phone on mute and started jumping around and screaming. It was probably the most excited I've ever been. I then unmuted it and quickly said yes, and then I was left wondering who the other 3 would be. A little later that night, I got a text from Andrew Hausdorff saying simply, "Hey." Somehow, I instantly knew he had been asked as well, and we started celebrating. About an hour later, I got a text from the Broadbridges saying that L4 2016 would be the exact tent group we had on Voyager, Billy Cartel. That was the best text message I've ever received, and we Skyped that night till 1 a.m., talking about the upcoming summer. For the next 287 days, I had a timer. All I got were messages from counselors and former leaders saying how fun our summer would be. It was like we'd joined a brotherhood, one I definitely wanted to be a part of. When the day finally arrived, a day I'd been thinking about for over 9 months, I was so excited I could barely breathe. As we turned on a county C, I urged my dad to go faster and faster. When we finally got there, it was like I never left. Instantly, I knew this summer would be the best of my life. Father-son was a blast, but I couldn't wait for the other leagues to get there. The night Andrew arrived, I remember sitting in my bed and waiting to hear car tires. As soon as I heard them, I ran up to the gazebo, and I knew as I said hello to Andrew, that was the start of Leader Summer. This summer, I learned that brotherhood trumps all competition, and that you should always bleed the creed. This summer, from introducing myself to everyone in A session, to getting closer and building stronger relationships with so many people, and even just seeing one kid on my team crack a smile, it has been by far the best summer of my life. I could go on for hours about how amazing the past 8 weeks and 1 day have been, but there's not enough time. All I can say is that I am extremely fortunate to have been given this opportunity, and it will forever be the best thing that has ever happened to me. Finally, I have a few short thank yous that I would like to share. I would like to thank the Broadbridges for giving me this chance and for making Camp Deerhorn such a special place. I'd like to thank my parents for raising the money to send me back each year. I know it was hard, and I know that me talking about camp every day for almost the last year Must have been really annoying, but thank you for understanding. I will always be grateful. Thank you to all the staff members who gave me advice throughout the summer. It helped me more than you can ever know. Thank you to all the people on my team. You guys, whenever you guys cracked a smile, that's really what gave me the motivation to just go through each day, best day you can. Thank you to Kiana. The speech was amazing. And second, you always gave me such great advice, even though you weren't a leader, and you still knew how to give me advice. And it really helped the summer and summers before. Last but not least, thank you, Diego, Jake, and Andrew. Becoming closer with you three was the best part of this summer. From the Coogee times and the good job hugs after Sunday events to even the weird conversations we have late at night. I'll miss every minute of the time I spent with you, and I'll always want it back. I've heard lots of stories of leaders being best friends that's their summer, but drifting apart after it ended. I promise that won't happen to us. You guys are the best friends I've ever had, and I'm so glad I get to spend this summer with my brothers. The last thing to say as a camper is thank you, Camp Deerhorn.
Took my love, then I took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection in snow-covered hill with a landslide brought it down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can a child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tide? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, I have been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes older, children get older, I'm getting older too. Well, my love, take this love and you take it down. You climb a mountain and you turn around, and you see your reflection, snow-covered hill. See my reflection, snow-covered hills, when the landslide. Oh, she's down.
Thank you all for remaining so quiet and respectful of the leaders while they were giving their speeches.
This moment is very, very special to the leaders, so as the end of it, we're going to have them lead Deerhorn Hall one last time.
After Deerhorn Hall, if we can ask that everyone return to their kujis in complete silence. Thank you.
I told me it's tomorrow. Tomorrow we will home. I go.